Okay, so welcome to the Q&A session. Here on the slides, I put a few questions together from challenges, tutorials, old midterm, resit exam, etc., as suggested by students or asked by students via email to clarify a few things here and there. Right. So the first question, as Maria indicated in the chat, was my mistake. So challenge week 6 was about policy value calculations. And apparently I posted a wrong video there, so it must have been the video from the challenge from last year. But here is the question, and I'm going to guide you through the solution, right? So what is this question about? We have Jacob, who is, well, 10 years ago, he bought a certain product. He was age 25 back then. And what he bought was a fully discrete 10 payment whole life policy with an insured amount of 10,000 euros, let's say. And if I refer to the 10 payment, it means that the product was bought with 10 level premiums, so 10 constant premiums, which were paid in the first 10 policy years. So starting at time 0 up to time 9. So then you have 10 payments in total. Now at the start, well, which was at the start of each year, right? All actuarial calculations on the contracts were done according to the following assumptions. So one refers to the ILT, the interest rate is given, premium was calculated with actuarial equivalence, etc., etc. Now let's denote L10 being the present value of the future losses as a random variable at time 10. So you put yourself at time 10, you look into the future and you calculate at time 10 the present value of the future losses, you express that as a random variable. Now, in the question, they tell us, well, at the end of policy year 10, the interest rates drops to 0%, let's say. Yeah. So if you would then redo the calculation and you would calculate the expected value of this loss random variable, how would that drop in interest rate, what would be the impact? If you compare the original value of that policy value at time 10 versus the new one, what is the result of this change? Okay. Any questions before we start? Anything which was not clear or so? So if you put yourself at time 10 to solve this question, then of course you have to wonder, yeah, what kind of, what is there to happen in the future, right? So you go from time 0, you go to time 10, etc. So Jacob originally had age 25, so that means that at time 10, if he's still alive, then, and he is, he has age 35, right? So we're going to look into the future and we're going to express the L10, so the value of the future losses valued at time 10 and expressed as a random variable. Now, of course, if you look at what's going on in this contract, and on the one hand, you have benefits, and on the other hand, you have premiums. So if you look at the information regarding the benefits, then we know it's like it's a sum insured of 10,000, right? Jacob has now reached age 35. It's a fully discrete product, and it's a whole life policy. Yeah, so that's important information to express, like, okay, what is the value of the future benefits promised under the contract? What is their value at time 10? And on the other hand, we have information about the premiums. So there is a 10 payment, meaning 10 level premiums payable during the first 10 policy years, and this at the start of each year. So that's what we know about the premiums. So that also means that the premiums were payable at the following time points, namely at time 0, time 1, up until time 9, right? So in fact, everything related to the premiums is over at the moment that you put yourself at time 10. So there is nothing you shouldn't worry anymore when expressing the L10 random variable. You shouldn't worry anymore about the premiums because that's over. That happened in the past. So if you put yourself at time 10 and you look at the expected value of this L10, which we call the policy value at time 10, then I would say, well, what do I have to worry about? I have to look at what is the value at time 10, the expected present value at time 10 of offering this whole life insurance product with a benefit of 10,000. So it's going to be 10,000 A35. So why is it this A35? Because Jacob now reached age 35, he's still alive. And then this A35 expresses what is the value, the expected value of the future benefits on this contract. Yeah. Now this A35, if you use the original assumptions, and you see that in what is given, if you use the original assumptions, you will have a value here of 1,287. Right? That's with the original assumptions. But if you now look at what's happening if I implement, and I'm going to denote that with a star. So what is happening if I implement a drop in the interest rate? So I still need to look at the same construction or product if you want. But now, of course, the A35 star should be valued with 0% interest. Okay. And if there is 0% interest, and if you look at this A35 star, then it's going to be like as follows. It's going to be V star Q35 plus V star squared, and then P35 Q36, etc., etc. And this V star is going to be 1 plus I star to the power minus 1. But I star is 0, so it's going to be just 1, right? So at the end of the day, what do we have? We have Q35 plus P35 times Q36, and so on and so forth. So what is the EPV under this assumption? Now, what is the result then for A35 star? No one solved the challenge. 1, very good, Leo. And that is because what you're essentially doing is you're summing the probability that K35 is 0, the probability that K35 is 1, the probability that K35 is 2, and so on and so forth. Because the discount factor is just equal to 1 here, we're essentially just summing the probability or the probabilities from the probability function of the current future lifetime. So what do we end up with? That this expected value under the new assumptions is 10,000. And then, of course, you can easily make the difference. So you have to make the difference then between this number and this number. And that is what the impact will be of that change in assumptions. Yeah. Questions here, things which are not clear